Hi, I'm Penny Marsh and I'm part of the Mission Forum organising group, and I'm here to share with you about an exciting pioneer project. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, my name's John Weston, and I'm a pioneering minister appointed by the South Eastern Baptist Association, and I'm in a place called the Bread of Life, which is the pioneering project for which I'm responsible.
Great, well just tell us a little bit about the context of where this project is.
Okay, so we're located in Strood, which is one of the Medway towns in Kent, and this particular place is in South Strood, which is a huge triangular area bordered by the A2, the M2 and the River Medway, and nearly all of this huge sprawling triangular area was originally council housing and is now still mainly social housing of one kind or another.
So I imagine there's a lot of social deprivation in the area.
A lot of need, a lot of brokenness of different sorts.
Yeah. So what's Bread of Life project about?
Okay. Well, Bread of Life is a community coffee shop and micro bakery. I'm sure I'll say a little bit more about that later. But what it's about, the whole vision of this project, is to see church emerge among people who would be very unlikely ever to cross the threshold of one of our traditional church buildings, sadly. Mm-hmm. And of course there are an increasing number of those people.
Great, so you've already touched on a little bit on this, but what is the vision of this project?
Well, this vision is just that, to see church emerge. And when I say emerge, it's not my vision. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it's all about listening to the people who come through the door and finding what form of church would eventually suit them. And of course there are many, many steps before they get to that point, but just to let church emerge in the way that God has planned, that is suitable for the people of Strood.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. So John, I'm sure other people are wondering as well, what actually are you doing here? What are some of the activities that go on in this place? Yeah,
I'm certainly very busy. I'm not twiddling my thumbs. Sure. So what am I actually doing? Well, I mentioned it's a community coffee shop. So one thing we do is simply enable this to be a place where people can come in, particularly those who are isolated, who might live alone, whether they're elderly people who've been widowed, or sometimes young parents who are living without any other adult company, just somewhere they can come and sit and be, chat and make friends. So that's one strand of what goes on. We also host a number of community groups, all sorts of different things. We have a neuro cafe that meets here, so that's a support group for people with various neurological conditions. And indeed this last Tuesday we had the Deputy Mayor of Medway coming and making scones with that group, which was great fun. We have a running group that meet here and go off and do their run, burn off lots of calories and then come back and put them all on again.
Absolutely, and justify the pastries, can't they?
Indeed. And all sorts of other befriending groups. We've just started doing a community litter pick, which again is a way of caring for the community and the environment in this place, and connecting with other people. Yeah.
You said we. Who gets involved in the litter picks then? Do you have a big team?
Well, most of the team here, apart from myself, are volunteers. Some of the volunteers are drawn from local churches, predominantly Baptist, but also other denominations as well. But we also have community volunteers who get involved, and there's one guy in particular who's been very keen to get the litter picking up and running, and so we work with the community and see what they want to do through this resource, rather than just having to be all my bright ideas, which wouldn't get us very far.
Well, I don't know, but I've seen on your notice board you've mentioned something about some courses. Do you want to say a little bit about those?
Yeah, so it's another way of connecting with different sections of the community. I run bread making courses. I say bread making, we do a sourdough bread making course. We also do buns, cinnamon buns, Danish pastries, viennoiserie, which basically means stuff from Vienna,
Right.
but it's stuff we tend to think of as French, like croissant and pain à raisin, pain au chocolat. So we have groups of people coming in and learning these skills and just gaining in confidence and seeing what they can do, which is great. So yes, we run plenty of courses of that sort. Yeah. And I should mention that our signature course, which is a 6-session course, so it builds on different skills week on week. We bake different breads, including brioche and focaccia, some quite complex ones towards the end of the course. But the thing about bread is it takes time. So as we're teaching that, we often have periods where the bread is proving and we sit down in a coffee shop, relax and talk, have a coffee or tea, whatever people want to drink. And during those times, and indeed actually when we're baking in the kitchen as well, I just open up conversations about faith. There are so many connections between Scripture, Jesus, and the bread of life, and bread itself. Yeah, it's just great fun seeing where those conversations go. I'm just to give one simple example. In week 3 of the course, we make hot cross buns, and I just ask people, do you know why you're putting a cross on the buns? And many of the people that have come on these courses have absolutely no idea. They don't mention Easter or anything. I've had answers like, "Oh, is it so families could cut them into 4 and share them out," and all that sort of thing. And so I tell them actually it's about Jesus dying on the cross, and not always, but very often they then say, "Really? I didn't know about that. Tell me about it, John." And there's something about just doing something with your hands and doing something with all these connections to faith that just seems to work well and to be a wonderful opportunity to share our faith.
That's really exciting. There's so much opportunity, and I just wonder, do you ever imagine that one day this will look more like a traditional church meeting, or what? Have you got any ideas of where you might be going? If no's the answer, that's fine.
Well, yes. I mean, a lot of that, depends on this word church. So, I'm not expecting it to look like a traditional church because, sadly, the traditional church is not connecting with many of the people who are coming in the doors here, and I don't want to just make something, 5 years down the line that stops connecting with people. But certainly, I want to see church emerge. That's the whole vision. But in that sense, if church is defined as something very simple, like a place where people are coming to faith and being discipled and growing in that faith in Jesus Christ, then actually Bread of Life is already church, because people are coming to faith. And then as I'm chatting with, I'm thinking particularly of a volunteer who's come to faith, as he continues to volunteer, as we're doing the washing up, we're talking about what it means to pray and other such things. So if church matches that definition of people coming to faith and growing their faith, then we already are. What we're not is an organised, structured church in that sense. And whether we'll be one day or not just depends on where God leads.
Yeah. Thank you, John. It's really exciting to hear about that. I think we're going to finish with a tour of the premises, aren't we?
Yes,
all your exciting gadgets.
Show you around, yes.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Penny. So finally, let me give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the wonderful Bread of Life premises that we now have. So to start with, I'm going to point you outside at the front, outside these lovely big windows, where we have a curtilage area where we can set up tables for smokers, and they can enjoy some fresh air out the front. And then we'll take you slowly through the main coffee shop itself, where all sorts of things go on, whether it's individuals coming in or those groups that we mentioned. You'll see various exciting things like the community notice board with the all-important poster in the middle for the this week's bread, the bread that I'll be baking to order on a Thursday. And then we'll come behind the counter where you'll see the wonderful coffee machine and also a boiling water tap which we can use for making teas and not for washing our hands. And then we'll go through to the heart of the operation, the baking kitchen itself. There are various things in here which could take the title of my favourite toy. One is the baking oven, the deck oven. It's got 2 decks where I can bake up to 30 loaves at a time. And just around the corner there's my little mixer where I can get 25 kilos of flour and mix up all those loaves of bread. The third favourite toy is this beast, which is a retarder prover. It can be used to both elevate and reduce the temperature, so I can do long proofs overnight, ready for me to work on in the morning, and controls the humidity so things don't dry out and you get nice consistent results. And then finally, beyond the all-important sinks where we clean up, you might be able to see in the gathering gloom a little garden outside that we can make good use of in the summer. We've got a pergola now that we can extend to cover the patio and put out some tables there. So all in all, a wonderful premises that God has blessed us with, a wonderful resource to use in his service.